Alright, this is the podcast. We haven't decided on the name of the podcast, but it's goddamn 1:15 in the morning, and we're talking about scuffed shit. We decide we're going to start the podcast now. I'm Dark Wolf
Okay, Metal
Revan.
Gear.
This is a gate.
Hello, I'm Chilling a Gate, also known as Gate. We may or may not use our real names. I don't care.
I don't care if we happen to call each other by our real names while it happens. It happens. But we were planning on starting this podcast later on when we had more people, but we already started getting into conversation on topics that we were already going to bring up for the podcast to begin with, and we're here now.
This is episode 0.
This
Let's just
this is episode 0. Um, so what we were starting to talk about um,
before starting this.
before I decided to start this recording for the podcast, is we started getting into the Metal Gear Solid timeline. And
How
it is
weirdly
so
scuff.
because the earliest point is MGS3,
Yeah, and that's like
which is Snake Eater.
Snake Eater, which takes place during the Cold War,
Yes.
I think. Yeah,
Metal Gear
around that
Timeline
point.
takes place during fucking Snake Eater.
It's one of those years. We'll find out later.
It was history for the Metal Gear universe turns into an alternate history than our own at some point during World War II.
Yeah.
They never really specified where during World War II our timeline and the Metal Gear timeline split, but it happened at some point during World War II.
Like, if you remember correctly, they have like these weird fucking floating saucer things.
They had all sorts of weird shit in the Metal Gear universe,
Like,
but so there's 11 games in the main Metal Gear series continuity.
Fucking 11 of these.
That spans 5.5 decades, from starting with the Cold War until the near future.
It started like with the Cold War, then it goes on to MGS5.
Yeah. Okay. So
Like, if we're doing it in order,
in chronological
actually, no.
it goes Snake Eater,
Peace Walker.
Portable Ops happens first.
Yeah,
which was on the
Ops.
PSP.
Yeah, same with Peace Walker.
Yeah. Then it goes Peace Walker. Then it goes Ground Zeroes, which is the little mini prequel game to Phantom Pain.
Which I think people
after Phantom Pain, it goes to the first Metal Gear game, not Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear.
Then Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake.
Then Metal Gear Solid, which takes place in 2005. And then Sons of Liberty, Guns of the Patriots, and then Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
I believe it 2 takes place like during 2007, 2009. If I'm remembering correctly.
99.
But it's been a while.
Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, takes place in 1999.
I was saying Solid 2.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid 2. Yeah, that takes place in 2007 to 2009.
Yeah, like 1 a.m. brains, guys.
Yeah.
Woo.
So, of the 11 games that take place in the main continuity of the franchise, 5 of them are prequels centering on Big Boss.
Yeah.
Take place decades before the events of the original Metal Gear game. And the whole major plot twist, thing that a lot of people forget about since Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, Phantom Pain, is that your character, your playable character in MGS5, is one of the main antagonists of the original Metal Gear game.
Yeah.
You are Venom Snake.
You are technically the new Big Boss.
You're the fake Big Boss.
And everyone rolls with it in 5. Which,
let's take it from the very, very beginning. MGS3, which chronologically is the first game in the series. It introduces...
It introduces Naked Snake.
Or just Snake, for short.
Or
He's
Jack.
he's a operative working for the
Uh,
fictional unit under the
fictional hero.
CIA called Fox, which is Force Operation X, and it takes place during the Cold War. The game focuses on Snake going from an apprentice to being a legendary soldier, as well as the downfall of his mentor and mother figure, just known as the boss. A lot of shit
We never get
happens.
to know her name, which is
Yeah, no, I mean, happens. Basically, she she defects. Snake's mentor defects to the Soviets. Snake is sent in to Russia to kill her, and a whole bunch of shit happens there.
Snake has to do his first mission, which is the Bertros mission, which Bertros mission is pretty okay tutorial, seeing as though you have like in this game you have different ways of sneaking around with different camouflage and face paints.
Which I
I think that
absolutely loved. I wish they
yeah,
had brought that back in
they
some of the later
kind of
games.
I think they kind of had that in MGS4, but not as cooler.
I, I don't know. MGS3 is always going to be my favorite Metal Gear game.
Yeah, like stealth in
From its
MGS3. I think
story to the fact that different camos actually played a accurate part in what you were doing. Like,
yeah,
if you're in the swamps and you decide to slap on some red fucking camo, your
you might
your stealth drops immediately.
like you might as well be a walking fucking
You
say
were
hey
you
shoot
have a
me here.
massive sign above your head that says "Shoot me in my fucking face." Please,
Then
I am
like
a secret stealth operative from the CIA. Shoot me in the mouth. And it, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And
yeah, like it like with
the
the earlier
timeline,
games. Hmm?
we've gotten off track a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
for the past,
timeline.
this has been a
Let's go back to
7 minute
timeline.
tangent of us just like to loop back around to the fact that the Metal Gear fucking timeline is a mess.
Yeah,
Okay, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance doesn't take place in the actual, main continuity. It fucking does.
it does. I
Yes.
I, I actually don't remember that.
Yes.
Mainly because I haven't played
Okay,
Rising,
so
but I know it's good. Anyway,
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance has one of the best soundtracks.
yeah,
Um,
let's agree
so,
there, and let's go back to Metal Gear Solid 3
well, hang on.
real quick.
Revengeance was nice. I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was
I'm.
so complete. Like, it's not your
It's
standard Metal
its
Gear game.
own
It
thing
is its
in a
own
way.
thing, and it plays completely different from the rest of the game. It's a hack and slash instead of a
The hack is
stealth
that
shooter.
there are stealth elements in it, if I remember correctly.
Not
Just
very.
some.
The maybe one or two situations, because I mean you can do stealth kills, I think, but most of the
Yeah,
time you're running around and just hack and slashing. Sometimes you're in your standard outfit, and if you've unlocked it, well, sometimes you're running around with a poncho and a sombrero.
I think if you have a box, I think the sombrero goes on top of the
It
box,
does.
which is
It does.
just the icing of that
So
cake.
the cool thing is about Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is that Raiden has come back
Yeah,
after many.
after like MGS4,
Yeah. Um.
and he's like full cyborg android man.
In Revengeance, he is a
Yeah,
cyborg, basically 100%. Like he still has some organic,
some organic stuff like
material, but he's mostly because at the
he's our
beginning
he's our
he's
Captain
just
America of the
he
Metal Gear timeline.
in the beginning of the game. It shows Raiden before he goes like basically full cyborg body.
Yeah, which
Because even at that point, he's like part cyborg, ninja, mercenary man.
Deep Throat.
He
Yeah,
joins a PMC group and is tasked with defending the president of a unspecified African country.
I have no
Situation goes
idea
to
what
shit.
it is.
Yeah. Well, no, they never
Like
specify
it goes to
They never
shit.
specify what country it is.
Giant
But
fucking
things go to shit.
robots and
Yeah,
dudes.
everything goes to shit. President is killed by a rival PMC company. Raiden is defeated, and then uh, he,
He loses his fucking arms,
and his
like,
eye,
and his other eye. Yeah.
and he decides to re-avenge his failure and is set out with a brand new cyborg body and fucking God, what did they call that sword?
The high frequency blade.
That's what it was.
I think.
High
I think
frequency
that's.
blades. Yeah.
That's also what it was called in MGS too. But
Yeah.
we're also going all the way to Rising Revengeance from MGS3.
Yeah, but that's just start of the series, current end of the series.
From like in the
Don't get me wrong.
timeline,
I love
in this
MGS5.
timeline.
I've never
Yeah.
I've
I beat MGS5, so
yeah.
I kind of know
So
what's
okay. So the thing about, by the way, we should have said this earlier, but massive
episode
spoiler.
0.
This is episode 0, and massive spoilers to anybody who has yet to play through and beat the Metal Gear games.
So
Whoopsie.
yeah, we should just
So the thing,
at the
okay, the thing
beginning
about
of
Metal
this
Gear,
video,
the thing about
just
Metal Gear
say
Solid 5, okay, because that's about the halfway point in the timeline, right?
about the halfway point. Yeah,
Of the
like
timeline. The
before going
prologue
to
for Ground Zeroes is
MG.
set just a few weeks after the final mission in Peace Walker. Uh,
Like after,
in
like from Peace
Ground
Walker to
Zeroes,
Ground
yeah,
Zeroes.
in Ground Zeroes, it's literally just a couple weeks after Peace Walker.
Yeah,
Now,
and this is like
you play as the actual big boss in the Ground Zeroes prologue to MGS5, and
yeah,
you rescue 2 VIPs from a black site in Cuba, or on the coast of Cuba. Shit happens,
who were
and
also
then
characters from Peace Walker,
yeah.
which
So, basis the main story that revolves around Big Boss forming a new PMC group called the Diamond Dogs to retaliate for the destruction of the group MSF and the loss of his comrades. However, this Big Boss that you play as in Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain is revealed to be part of the medical staff who had survived a helicopter crash
yeah,
and who was then brainwashed to believe himself to be Big Boss and was surgically, modified to actually look like Big Boss, while the real Big Boss went into hiding to create a place called Outer Haven, a place where soldiers can live without having to be without having to abide by any particular ideology.
hopefully that's correct, because I don't remember much of Outer Haven.
It's correct.
But if you think about it, if that real Big Boss went to Outer Haven, and this fake Big Boss was around, that also doesn't kind of make sense towards the end of Metal Gear 1, where the son of the first Big Boss, Solid Snake,
Was
fucking
actually a genetic clone of Big Boss.
yeah. If you say it like that, it's kind of weird. Like,
well, they consider him his son, but he's actually
his clone son.
Yeah.
Let's just say
It's a Superboy situation.
Oh boy, like, I believe it's
or
not
Damian,
the real Big.
or Damian Wayne to Bruce Wayne. That's basically what it is.
Probably right. In the first Metal Gear, this snake, the Solid Snake, has to kill Big Boss, which I'm going to assume it's a fake Big Boss.
Well, okay, so
because no. If you think about it, in MGS4, old Snake meets fucking Big Boss. Like, this man is super old, and he has his eye patch.
Yep.
And here's the thing. In MGS5, Phantom Pain, you get to make your own character.
Yeah, and then you immediately get taken into the main game where you are no longer with with that character you created. You are then like that. That is one of the biggest hints of the game that you are not actually Big Boss.
Yeah.
Like immediately after creating your character, it cuts to Big Boss.
It
And you're
cuts
sitting
to
there like, what the fuck was the point of even being able to create this character? Which, ironically, the character that you create is actually your online character.
which that's pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
pretty neat,
that's a
but
little, at that point, if you don't
like,
play
oh,
much past
that's
that and you only end up doing it online, you're like, okay, makes sense, whatever. Weird point, a little bit of a weird spot to decide to drop in your online character creation while you start up the campaign, but, a lot of people overlook that.
yeah. And like the weird stuff with how MGS5 from Ground Zeroes made a big weird switch to Fountain Pain
Hmm.
in gameplay stuff. Because you can actually, if I remember correctly, you could make Snake tell, like, if you have a guy hold up, you could tell him, say, hey, call out your bodies. That doesn't happen in Fountain Pain,
Hmm.
which that's a interesting thing
Well,
because I only found that out from a Let's Player. I don't remember
see,
his name.
an
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
thing about Phantom Pain, I don't mean to cut you off,
Oh
but an
no, it's
interesting
fine.
thing about Phantom Pain is that a lot of people don't realize, how in Phantom Pain, how you have that, like, piece of debris that's in your head, right?
Yeah.
Well, depending on if you decide to go a more passive route or aggressive
Uh,
route,
yeah, yeah.
either incapacitating your enemies or killing them, if you kill like if you keep killing throughout the main story and stuff, that horn
That
on
kind
your
of
head,
grows.
it grows and gets larger and larger.
And then I believe once that happens, you get all very bloody,
Uh,
and
yeah, you get
at
more
some
bloody, and
point,
I
it
think it leads towards the bad ending of the game.
it leads more to the Venom Snake ending,
Yeah,
because
because it's
there's
you are Liquid Snake slash Venom Snake, depending on how the story goes.
yeah, uh, like
Liquid Snake is the canonical ending
canonical, yes,
because
mainly,
in the first Metal Gear, uh,
uh,
you are sent as Solid Snake to the fortress in South Africa known as Outer Haven,
which
which
it,
find you need to find a missing squad member of a group called Gray Fox, and to investigate a weapon known as Metal
Metal
Gear.
Gear. I think Gray Fox was actually just
It
some
was
guy.
yeah, it was a
No, I don't think it was a unit.
no, well,
It's
it
been a
was a member of the team.
yeah. Gray Fox was a member.
His actual
Did,
name was Frank Yeager.
oh yeah, yeah. See, this has been a long time because I had played the original MSX
Yeah,
version of that, and yeah, it's age,
yeah.
but the
Um,
story I think it's pretty cool. It's
oh yeah,
really
no, it's
unique.
I love all the Metal Gear games. But like I said earlier, Metal Gear Solid 3 is probably one of my favorite. Well, it's probably my
Yeah,
favorite,
yeah,
with that Metal Gear
like
5 probably being a close second. Just because of Metal Gear 5's gameplay feel
dynamic
and
camera action,
yeah,
like
that
the
and
flare works of it.
just the fact that
Kojima
you had more freedom to do the game as you wished, however you wished.
multiple ways how
Yeah,
you can play the game, which
the fact
with
that you
some
could
mission, oh
you're building up the Diamond Dogs, private military company,
yeah,
and you can actually just snatch up and recruit people and soldiers that you encounter in the field.
hey, do
Granted,
you
you
want to
knock
join
them
our
out.
new
Well, you knock them
secret
out and you
club?
put a Fulton device on them, and they float up a bit, and then they get snatched by a plane flying over. And
Yeah,
all I have to say is, can
which
you imagine being one of those soldiers and waking up as you're being snatched by a fucking plane?
imagine doing that with them actually being awake. Just
I
like,
don't think you
hey
could.
guys, yeah, you can.
Help!
Just like,
Help!
oh god,
Help!
oh gosh.
And then they just get dropped off at Mother Base, and apparently everything goes well because it never fails.
uh, well, not the burst rebel. It can fail.
Well, it's never failed for me.
Oh, okay, okay. I believe you.
It's always just been resounding success, and I'm just sitting there like, Look, man,
Good.
if I got knocked the fuck out and then kidnapped by a plane to be dropped on an oil rig in the middle of the fucking ocean
And you're also being like
while the
interrogated.
boss while yeah being interrogated, then next time the boss shows up on base, he just beats the shit out of you and you just have to accept it.
Okay. Raises morale.
Yeah, raises morale. I just watched our commanding officer give that man 3 fractured goddamn ribs and a collapsed lung with a concussion.
And the dude stands right back
Yeah,
up and
he
salutes
my
boss.
man's got up, brushed himself off, and saluted the boss.
Which,
Boss walked away. My man's collapsed on the ground, and they just carted him off like nothing happened.
just a normal Saturday.
Yeah, man, just another day on Mother Base. Sitting there going,
Which,
I'm sorry, what?
you guys are fucking crazy. I'm in.
Well,
Which,
you know,
that's,
it's better than working for Skull.
yeah, like, I think one of the cool things that I like about MGS5, Phantom Pain, is that morale has an effect with some cutscenes. Like, low morale, your guys are fighting each other,
Yeah.
and there's a cutscene where Big Boss arrives, and 2 soldiers pull out a knife. Snake, fake Snake, goes in. He takes
Hang on,
a
we need to be a
knife.
little bit more specific with Fake Snake.
Okay,
Because there's 3 fake
Gray Fox.
snakes.
I think. Okay, I believe this is somewhat true. There was
Okay,
going to be a
there's
chapter 3
okay, so
of this,
there's Solid Snake, Solidus Snake,
and then
Liquid
Liquidus.
Snake.
Not Liquidus. Liquid. I'm yeah. 1 3 pain. I can't speak. So yeah. So Solidus is technically an
Okay, he's the
older
third
man.
brother,
He's the
and he's the
third one.
president of the fucking United States at the end of Metal Gear Solid.
I did not know that.
Yeah, at the
See,
end of the first MGS, Solidus Snake is introduced as the president, and he's the
and
main antagonist of MGS2.
which that's really neat. Like, if you
Like
didn't
I
follow the
said,
story,
this timeline is scuffed. Like there is so much shit that happens. Like,
so okay. So if we go back to like MGS5, apparently this is just apparently. I'm not saying it's official, but apparently, this fake snake was supposed to be going to be Gray Fox. I think. Don't quote me on this, but I'm not 100% certain. There was going to be a chapter 3 at some point where, uh, yeah, you know, whenever you take too much damage and the screen sort of goes red and white and sort of fucks with your vision.
yeah,
That was going to be a thing for a gimmick in chapter 3, where Liquid, the child, had a fucking Metal Gear, and I guess the Psycho Mantis kid was also there,
yeah,
and there was a big battle that happened afterwards, and Snake's fake Snake's vision is fucked.
mhm,
So there's guys with hazmat suits, which if you had if you had known, there's like red and white suits, and Liquid is wearing I think a red or white suit. So you can accidentally shoot Liquid in that cutscene,
yeah,
and I don't know how or what happens because it doesn't do a time paradox on you yet. Because it was an actual in-game cutscene,
yeah.
and yeah, this never happened because Konami.
Yep.
So now, if we go into Metal Gear Solid 1, like, let's say like Twin Snakes in the regular version, like MGS1, I think, is a really cool starting game if you never played the MSX series games.
Yeah. And
Uh, hmm?
can we just talk about how MSX is just a weird?
Weird computer console
Yeah.
game. Yeah, like Kojima made Police Knots with MSX, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because Police Knots was used in a couple cutscenes in the original MGS because I don't know, Kojima really liked his Police Knots, uh,
Kojima
which
wasn't. Oh, he was something.
like
Is something.
he wanted to make a movie and he
Yeah.
wanted to make a game with as like a movie. So I can respect that because like nowadays, if you like, I'm just gonna throw for example like Red Dead, like it's kind of like a movie in a way, like
Yeah, it's
a good.
very cinematic based through for its storytelling.
Then there's uh Evil Dead, not Evil Dead. Uh, I can't remember what it's called. It's gonna bug me, but uh,
Just describe what you're thinking of.
uh, okay, you're a cop dude. You had a family, daughter, and she's in this program.
Oh,
Uh, you know
oh
exactly what I'm
fuck,
talking about,
oh fuck.
don't you?
Oh god.
A lot of YouTubers played it.
Yeah, I know. I know. Markiplier played it.
I know Jack played it as well.
Evil Within.
Evil Within, yes.
I didn't even have to look it up. God, I was in the process of it. It was just like,
Like,
yeah,
what is it?
yeah.
Yeah, Evil
Uh,
Within. Like
Evil
when you
Within was
look
such
at
a
it,
good game.
it's like the first game had like such a cinematic view because it was kind of set in that view.
It was
Uh,
very noir, police,
Noir.
like police
Uh,
film style.
but then it went to like Eldritch kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, no, it played on all sorts of weird horror aspects that were. It was just absolutely phenomenal.
Like Evil Within. Uh, like if that was an actual movie, I feel like that would be like a 1 million blockbuster.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a Bethesda game. What do you what can we expect?
I didn't even know it was Bethesda.
Yeah, Bethesda published it. It was, and the reason that the Evil Within was such a good game was because it was directed by the Resident Evil series creator Shinji Mikami.
Shinji Mikami, yeah, yes.
It
Shinji
was
Mikami does a real good job.
yeah,
Uh,
but
but
he was the director for that game,
yeah,
so it makes a lot of sense why it was so good. But
what's another like?
we've been
Uh,
talking about the Metal Gear series for about a half hour.
and then we started
We
like
just
comparing
very
it
yeah,
to
we just
movies.
very started briefly switching, but I think that it might be time to switch topics.
Okay. Uh,
Just you know, just to switch it up.
yeah, let's switch it up to
um,
hmm.
okay, let's see.
How do you feel about JRPGs? Like any kind like RPGs, JRPGs, action RPGs.
Um, so just RPGs in general, or just specifically
Any
JRPGs?
kind of RPGs in general. Like if you
Um,
like
well,
Fallout, Persona,
I was about to say Fallout, not a JRPG,
well,
but
RPG, like any
well, I was about to say
RPG.
I've got opinions on like JRPGs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Um,
I'm just saying whatever RPGs that you
I
have
mean,
an
our
opinion for.
RPGs have always been one of my favorite types of games. Um, one of my earliest gaming memories is, playing Morrowind on the classic Xbox, and that came out in like 2002. So I was like 4.
Uh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, uh, I think back in 2002, I might have been playing on my PS2 as well, but I wasn't an Elder Scrolls fan back then because
I've always been an Elder Scrolls fan.
like, hey, like if you like Elder Scrolls, fucking
Yeah.
go for it, man. I started Oblivion before I started Skyrim, and like they're both
Okay, let's.
different,
Yeah, they're same franchise, obviously.
but more
Vastly different
different.
mechanics. In terms of full gameplay mechanics, I do like Skyrim a bit better. But in
Yeah,
terms of story, Oblivion's story was 1,000 times better
yeah.
because you
Uh,
weren't this special chosen one who had the ability to scream really good at people.
just fucking
Uh,
uh.
you cut out right as you started doing that little fake scream, and it was just like ah ah.
Oh, I hope that picks up. It's just the
I think that's all that picked up was the first little
I
bit.
really hope that does.
But
Uh,
Morrowind is the RPG, probably one of the very first RPG games I ever played,
mm,
and it makes me sad that they've never done a remaster for it. That
yeah,
game
which
is 19 years old. Yeah,
wow.
19.
Um, some of the RPGs I have played, and I played 100
You've
RPGs,
played a lot of RPGs, right? Do
like
you prefer?
tactical, strategic,
Okay, see, based on my,
based on your knowledge of what I
yeah,
played.
you have played a lot of JRPGs. That is probably one of
Uh,
your top game genre is
like
JRPG.
JRPGs, like turn-based
Okay,
RPGs, like Final Fantasy,
Final
uh,
Fantasy, Persona,
uh,
Yakuza,
Persona. Yeah,
Chrono
well,
Trigger,
Yakuza is more like kind of like a beat
it,
'em up RPG in a
but
way.
it's still a JRPG.
It has some level up mechanics,
It
and
is
I
a
will
it
say
is classified as a JRPG.
classified, but
But I know
I
what you
love
mean.
me some Yakuza. Like
Yeah, I know you love Yakuza,
Kingdom Hearts,
Kingdom Hearts,
Kingdom.
fucking
Oh
Final
my god.
Fantasy. You like
Uh,
Xenoblade. Uh,
we need to talk about Kingdom Hearts sometime later because if you think about that storyline, it's kind of weird.
I don't want to get into the King. I don't know enough
Well,
about Kingdom Hearts to want to
episode
get into
100,
that.
the Kingdom Hearts episode,
It's gonna be fucking 4 hours long.
it's gonna be
But
okay. Did Sora died?
another one of your favorite JRPG franchises would probably be Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh my god! Like
Probably
all the
three is probably your favorite, right?
Nocturne is. I have a hate and love for it because
So
the
it's your
game
same relationship with Dark Souls.
will get there when we get there, Joey.
So that's a yes. I'll just check that off in my book.
Yeah, Dark Souls, like to me, like y- like with our other friends, like you're very into Dark Souls. I'm
I love
like
Dark Souls.
I'm baby to Dark Souls. Like it's a good
I
game.
know I know more Dark Souls lore than I should. Okay, like I have
So you
delved
see
deep
here, this
into.
was also an Orlando at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
You could say you are the baddie of this
I
show.
look. Vadi is he is a godsend because he is
Yeah,
the one who cracked open the lore book for me and revealed so much knowledge, and it like got me to start diving deep into the pits and the abyss, no pun intended, of the Dark Souls lore, and I can't go
yeah.
back. It's
Like,
too late for me.
uh,
I could talk about Dark Souls for hours.
another episode.
Another episode for another day. Uh,
uh, Shin Megami Tensei, like, it's very weird to describe it because,
mm,
uh, in SMT, there's demons, and in Persona, there's, the Personas, and the Persona games
let's
are,
not get ahead of ourselves, okay?
yeah.
It's
Oh,
basically
it's
JoJo's Bizarre
basically
Adventure.
it's basically JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with fucking teenagers going. I
Like I
hope I
said,
cut out for
it's
that.
yeah, it did. Like I said, it's just basically JoJo because they all just fight with
Yeah, yeah,
stands.
or multiple sands. So
Exactly.
yeah, but Shin Megami Tensei, like the mainline series, it's vastly different from Persona,
Oh yeah,
and I love it because it goes on with its the idea of chaos and law.
yeah. Two
So
sides of the universe.
or be neutral and just call fucking Masakato and lift up the ceiling. Cause yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 4 was weird. Then there's also the action RPGs like Kingdom Hearts, Dark Cloud, which
Oh, Dark
like
Cloud is so good.
like when I asked you, you ever played Dark Cloud back in high school, and like,
Yeah. So
who the fuck is this man?
yeah, because nobody I'd ever met had ever even heard of Dark Cloud before you. Like before like anybody I'd met, nobody others outside of like my brothers knew what Dark
Mm,
Cloud was. And I
like
honestly, Dark Cloud will always be in like my top 10 games.
it's
It's
like it's
such a
our
good game.
childhood game in a way.
It really is.
Like
Like it came
when I
out in 2003? No, 2002.
2001
Was it 2001?
or 2000, so it would be yeah it would have been 2000 because it's 21.
Yeah,
I
came out
remember
2000. Holy shit.
I remember when you said that when I was streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
So
bring that up. Um,
which Dark Cloud, I think has such a great setting to it, but
it's such a
there
unique
are
game.
it's a unique game.
I have
Like
never played a game that
as
is.
close as it
I've
is,
never even played a game that is in the same genre, really, because it's its own thing.
it's its own thing.
Because it combines so many different, you know, um,
Uh, levels
yeah,
and gives a
so many different concepts.
like we have
Because it's technically
dungeon
classified
crawling.
as an action RPG.
Okay, so to check off our list for Dark Cloud, action crawling, action crawling,
Action
dungeon crawling,
Yeah. Okay. Action,
dungeon crawling,
RPG, dungeon crawling. Uh,
uh, village building, which
yeah, fucking
that was probably
city
my
building.
first instant.
Um,
Villages,
fucking equipment management.
like
Goddamn.
the game had a thirst meter. Okay, like this man very thirsty. He needs his water.
Yeah. Like for a JRPG, especially one that came out 21 years ago.
Ugh.
Like you had to make sure your characters were hydrated at all times when you're in the
Yeah,
dungeons,
and there's
which
like
was
the
so
dungeons had
they're randomly
special
generated.
levels. Yeah, aren't the randomly generated levels? They're really good.
Yeah. I
Then
mean,
there are some
the
uh
soundtrack. Oh,
like people are
oh,
gonna watch this and they're gonna go, man, these are fucking nerds. They love this old
damn right.
PS2 game. And I will say, hell yeah, man.
See, at
Like,
least back in 2015, they made it to where Dark Cloud was backwards compatible on PlayStation 4.
yeah, which, like,
I would have
it looks,
preferred a full remaster,
yeah, like
but I'll
if
accept
Level
that.
5 ever decides to go back and remaster Dark Cloud 1 and 2 with
I could care less about
everything,
2, but
if Dark Cloud 2 was better, until I until I trigger people like, no, Dark Cloud 2 is better. You're just no.
Well, did you know that Level 5, like that was one of their very first games that they made it started in development.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Like it
Dark
was the
Cloud,
first one, and their president and CEO Akira Hino, he wrote, produced, and designed it.
like uh
And when the PS2 was announced in 1999, Sony president used an early demo of Dark Cloud to show the capabilities of the platform.
Yeah, like you seen some of the beta footage, right?
Yeah,
That
like the magic
remember
carpet
when
flying through the valley and shit.
I did like actual city towns,
Yeah,
like buildings? I said that very weirdly, but you understand.
yeah.
Like Chone even once had like the ability to jump and swim, which dude, that blowed my mind. Like,
Yeah.
yo, like this
So
would be
the
pretty
funny thing
cool.
is, at the time, they were calling the main character of Dark Cloud Tone Link with an Alibaba twist.
Alibaba twist. Oh my god, I did not
Uh,
know that.
yeah. For people who don't know who Alibaba is, it's Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. It's a folktale. Um,
Folktale, kind of like a weird Aladdin in some way.
yeah,
I
it's what inspired Aladdin.
yeah.
And also back in the day, there was fucking Popeye. They did it like a thing with Alibaba back in the day. Um, it's one of the most familiar of the Arabian Nights tales.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was interesting. They compared the combat system to Ocarina of Time and the duels to Shenmue.
Oh, oh God, Shinmu. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. That's
I played
Dreamcast
Shinmu.
days.
Like have you played
And Shenmue
Shinmu?
3 actually came out, what, 2 years ago?
Uh, yeah, 2 years ago. I did pick up Shinmu HD for
Gotcha.
my Xbox, and I went through Shinmu 1, and like, yeah, this is actually pretty
Hmm.
good. Like a Dreamcast game. I never played any Dreamcast. I never owned a Dreamcast.
Yeah,
Like
I did. That
I've
was a
heard
weird console.
I've heard great things about Shinmu, and it was on sale for $20. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting me some Shinmu.
I'm gonna get me some Shenmue.
I want to see what Rio. I think that's the name. Either
Well,
Ryu
see, the
or
funny thing
Rio.
is, Shenmue was one of the early games for the company Deep Silver.
Yeah.
Like, weirdly enough, some of the there was publishers for it that would never do that nowadays because Sega, Microsoft, Sony, all being publishers for it.
Yeah. Like
It was fucking back in the 90s. Shit was wild. Companies actually worked together. Now it's just like, hey, you want you know Xbox and everybody else are like, hey, you want to do cross platform? We should do cross platform. Let all of our players play together. Sony,
no.
no.
Yeah.
Why? No.
That's one thing I have
They're my
against
players.
Sony.
Okay.
Like Shinmu, it's like if you think about it, like Shinmu, if you goes kind of to the Yakuza series or the Ryoga Kotoku series, if you
I can see that.
like, yeah. In combat wise, yeah, that's kind of like that. But Yakuza doesn't have like the time mechanic that
No.
Shinmu does. Like Shinmu was, I feel like it was a really advanced game on. I feel like a console that not a lot of people actually had back in the day, unless they had a lot of money for it. Because Shinmu, I think the story is very unique.
Hmm.
I don't want to go too far into Shinmu because Shinmu is a really good game. Check it out. Uh, let's see. Then there's let's switch it up a bit
Hmm.
to strategy games.
Mm.
Like
I
uh
will always love fucking. You talking about like RTS games?
I haven't played a lot of RTS games, which
Okay, so when you say strategy,
I know they're real time.
what do you
Like
think of when you say strategy games?
like uh fun fact. This goes back to some Shin Megami Tensei games called Double Survivor, which is uh very kind of like a weird turn-based strategy game where you get demons, you get abilities for your main cast of characters,
Hmm.
but it goes kind of like in a weird Fire Emblem spacing, which
Okay.
I think that's also really unique because there's a new game coming out called, well, a new project calling. Let me check this out real quick.
Hmm.
Uh, on the Switch called Project Triangle Strategy, and it reminds me so much of Devil Survivor, and like Devil Survivor to me, it was a DS game, then got remade to the 3DS
Okay.
with uh pretty neat things. Apparently the apocalypse is coming, and you and your friends are caught up in the middle of it, and you're trying to find a way to escape.
Okay.
However, things go sour. Demons start to pick on you because it's a Shin Megami Tensei game, and you have to fight for your lives. So,
Sounds legit.
in a weird way, this is where like the to me, because I played Fire Emblem alongside it,
Right. So
which
you were comparing the two quite a lot.
yeah, I compare it a lot, but they are significantly different.
Oh yeah.
Because in Fire Emblem, you have your player phase, where you can move all your units. Then you have
Mhm.
that enemy phase, where all
Yeah.
the other, yeah.
Full
But
on
that's
turn based.
for full on turn based, which is happening in Project Triangle Strategy as well, and I like that a lot. And it also kind of fucks with me, like you uh okay, let's see. Kind of like Final Fantasy X with its character uh list on the
Yeah.
upper right side, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like you get to see a list of who goes next.
Right.
So yeah, it's like that, and I feel like that's a really neat way of making a strategy game like that. Uh, Another thing, I did say Fire Emblem, and me and you definitely played Awakening,
Oh god, we
and
played so much Fire Emblem Awakening. So much.
that was like back in 2016. That was like our final year.
2015 to 2016, right?
Yeah, but then like I really started getting into Fire Emblem in 2016
Yeah.
because of Fire Emblem Fates, which
See,
uh,
the funny thing is, Awakening came out in 2012.
yeah, and
And me and you
it's
didn't really start playing it until 2014 to 2015.
around 2015, 2016, because I know around that time you had gotten a 3DS
Well,
and you borrowed one of your friends' copies of Awakening.
yeah.
And I will always remember this conversation to say, Kellum tripped and died. And it's just, gets me, gives me a good chuckle.
That's basically he just died. I'm just sitting there like, what do I? How do I
Ugh,
fix this? I can't fix this.
yeah.
It didn't
And,
save.
and the thing is, like, Awakening technically did save the series in the US because,
Yeah, it exploded
yeah,
fucking domestically.
like, Awakening to me, I think is
Probably my
a,
favorite.
probably the best, maybe best Fire Emblem on the 3DS. But not like
Fates was pretty good.
it's Fates is good, but but I think the last
But
3DS
that
Fire Emblem game,
Ruben, Ruben is hard to beat.
Ruben, yeah, like
Like Robin and he slash she is just you can be anything.
yeah, Robin is like your tactician, but you can change how you want to be, because
You want him to be a horse mounted tank? Do it. You want him to be
boom,
a necromancer? Do it.
boom. You want him to get married to creepy Tharja? that might not be the greatest idea,
That's a
but
yandere right
okay.
there.
No, that's a Yangiri. She'll kill anyone.
Yeah, yandere.
Yangiri's a lot more different. Let's not get into
Yeah, moving on.
moving on. Moving on from our weeb talk. Uh, yeah, Fire Emblem Awakening. I feel like it had a lot of great stuff to it. Like, don't get me wrong, Fates. It had a good stuff. It had some decent story. I'm not gonna be too harsh on it because
There was a lot of
it,
questionable themes in Fates. Let's be real here.
there was Niles who wanted to touch your butt, and I'm like, no, go away.
Not exactly who I was referring to, but yeah. Let's. Sure.
Oh, there was also Camilla who wanted to
Yeah.
touch Corn's butt very hard.
Yes, their butt.
They're everything. Yeah, everything.
Um. Yeah.
No, Camilla, stay away. Peace out.
So another quick topic. This
Yeah,
will probably be.
probably the last,
We
or maybe more. I don't know.
we'll see. We'll see. How
We'll see how it
we'll see where we
goes.
are after this conversation. Um, your absolute favorite game and why?
Ooh, that's. Do I have to say one?
Yes, just one.
I gotta think about that. Hmm. Do you have one at the ready? Like,
Um, my
like,
immediate go-to, I have one of two options.
hmm.
Uh, First option, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
I never played that. Like, I that's the
It's where
MMO,
part
right?
of my no.
Okay, no.
The MMO
Okay,
is just Star Wars: The Old Republic. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic was the original Xbox release game,
oh, okay.
single player RPG. Back during when Star Wars games were coming out like goddamn candy, and they were all good back then. You know, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, Star Wars Republic Commando, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original. Um, you just countless good games back then. Nowadays, Star Wars games have been a little iffy, except for Jedi Knight, or fucking Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That game was a masterpiece.
Yeah, yeah. Ah,
But so, favorite game would either be
either those two.
either one of the two fucking Knights of the Old Republic games, because they're both fantastic, um, or Oblivion.
Yeah, like, yeah, I can agree with those.
And reason why, well, for the Star well, two of the well either of the Knights of the Republic games, um, I'm a massive Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
Main character in well, spoiler alert for Knights of the Republic 1. Your main character is Revan, who is a who was a Sith Lord, but memory shit happens. You lose memory of who you were. That's why it's part of my username, Dark Wolf Revan. That game was one of my absolute favorites. It came out in 2003.
yeah,
And
okay.
then, obviously, big Star Wars fan. It had a lot of. It was RPG game. You weren't forced to be the good guy. If you wanted to, you could be. You could be Sith. You could be Jedi. You could decide against. Using. You could go through the entire game without using the Force once, or using your lightsaber, or you could just be a straight up gun wielding, badass. You could
Yeah,
do. You, your choices mattered. It gave your companions influence or not. You had choices you can make in dialogue and stuff like that. It was a pretty in depth RPG game, and it was very well rounded. It had a great story. It visited multiple different worlds. It was great.
yeah, yeah.
And then Morrowind, or not Morrowind, Oblivion. Oblivion is by far my favorite Elder Scrolls games that has ever come out. Another thing, again, it's similar to Knights of the Republic in just the fact that you're not forced to do any one thing. You know, you forge your own path. You do what you want, how you want to. You want to be, you know, an archer who, you know, sneaks around and insta kills your enemies from range because you're doing shit tons of sneak damage. Go right ahead. You want to be a sneaky cat man who's a thief. Go right ahead. You want to be a lizard
That
boy
has
and
many wares.
yeah, Khajiit has many wares. You want to be a fucking lizard man and a fucking Argonian, uh, who is an assassin. You could do that. You could be a battle axe wielding orc, or you could be a wizard, and do, or you could combine all of those things and have aspects of it all. You know, and you can do
Yeah, yeah,
whatever the hell you want. Join the guilds that you want. Be a gladiator in the Imperial arena. Do whatever the fuck you wanted. While just constantly ignoring the main quest and, you know, the potential doom of the world.
yeah. That
It's
I
just
would,
it's such a good
if
game
I
that,
had
you
played
know,
it, I
if
think that would be one of my favorites. If I grew up playing that.
it was just great. And, you know, it had a obviously it had a few bugs here and there, but most of the time they weren't game-breaking bugs.
Yeah,
Unless it
yeah.
was the duplication glitch that they never took out.
Oh my god.
There was a
Uh,
glitch where you could, if you had two of the same scroll, you could duplicate basically anything, and you would be able to get as much money as you wanted, doing whatever the hell you wanted, never run out of potions or
it's free
anything.
real estate.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can completely crash your game by doing this if you duplicate stuff too much. Like if you have 6,000 uh, pieces of armor, all duplicate at once because it drops from
Yeah.
a single point and expands and duplicates out from there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Okay.
I've crashed my games a few times doing that.
I think one of my favorite games, honestly, like from I have many favorite games. One of my most favorite games, kind of with the concept of what you said there, is Shin Megami Tensei 4, which has the law and chaos meter when I mentioned it before,
Hmm.
but this is one of the mainline Shin Megami Tensei games, and when I speak of 4, I mean the regular base game of 4, and not Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, which are two different games. But I'm gonna speak mainly of 4.
Right.
Uh, Law, Chaos, and Neutral, and there's like 4 endings to this game, and it's kind of like a weird, guilty pleasure to this game because uh, basically. Uh, it starts you off as some random villager going to the samurai ceremony and in the kingdom of Mikado. Uh, you play as the main character Flynn, or in my case, I'd called myself by my actual name Jesse, and ugh. But the gameplay for any SMT game is you'll get your teeth kicked in very gently. And by gently, it means kicking you in the face full
Or pinning you
force.
down and smashing your teeth down your throat with a goddamn sledgehammer.
Yeah. Uh, with the first actual main boss being a Minotaur who's weak against ice, but you have allies that can assist you, and by assisting, I mean they can fuck you over. Because there's a this Minotaur's weakness is fire. Not fire. Ice. If you use fire, you're gonna have a bad time. And when the game starts, you're immediately you immediately have the chaos and law meter at like number meter invisible, so you don't know what you're doing. So like
Shit's
maybe
happening, you're not sure what's happening. You just thrust right into what's going on.
so the first like actual main story decision is like present your arm to put a glove on you and then tap the screen, or nah, I'm cool, fam.
I don't want no glove.
And then you're forced to put on the glove and like, ah, fine. And now you're a samurai, like, oh, it's just that.
Ta-da!
But uh,
Ugh.
there being 4 endings to this game.
Okay.
So there's the neutral ending, which I'm just gonna spoil it. You need to do probably all the side quests.
That's it.
You have to be the most renowned man in Tokyo and Mikado, cause holy shit, to get that neutral ending, you gotta be a fucking saint of neutralness. But this also diverges from the law and chaos route, where you are logged in law of chaos, depending on how good or fucking badass you are.
Mhm.
Which you join with Lucifer and Chaos, who pretty much has a big old lump in his arm. He's looking quite pale, and he's gonna fucking murder everyone.
It's a tumor.
It's Walter White. He's in his arm. Like, if you see the boss design for Lucifer, it's so fucking gross. And then there's the law side with Merkava. I think that's the right name. But basically, there's two characters who are also samurais. Your samurai allies, Walter and Jonathan. Walter is chaos route. Jonathan is law route. Depending on some of your actions, like if you decide to like at some point you fight your old village friend who read the forbidden books and became a demon.
Probably
Like
short in the red damn books.
he read his fucking uwu anime manga. Ugh,
You heard it
that
here
made me.
first, boys. Ooh, anime manga's the demon book.
I became my demons. You fucking nerd. I'm gonna have to kick your ass. And during that fight, like it gives you options, saying like the friend says you must be proud that you became a noble samurai, and like, nah, I'm still a commoner. Or yeah, I am a noble. Fuck you, you bitch. I'm like,
Humbled
this,
or egotistical prick. Gotcha.
yeah. Uh, this also affects the battle as well. Like
So
you say,
I'm getting very. I hate to draw the comparison to this game, but
no, just say
Undertale vibes in terms of like
it. This is
like
the Undertale Shin Megami Tensei. No,
you know what I'm talking about though.
yeah. Well,
Like
Undertale takes,
the mercy slash murder playthrough styles.
but in some ways it's kind of like
It's
that. But
just well, what I mean is like in certain fights in Undertale, they'll have dialogue and stuff, and then you can make a choice whether or not you want to, or you're actually going to try to fight them, or you're just going to try to reason with them, kind of thing.
in some way, yeah. But this will not happen. You still have to kill your friend at the end. It's just like a
This
sign
is
of
the
showing a
end, my only friend.
your only one friend. Then you got your 2 other friends who will either
No,
lash
no,
out
no.
at you.
They don't exist. No, no extra friends. Only him.
These
As I said,
you're
this is the end. My only friend.
my only one friend that always hooked the worm on my that put the worm on my hook whenever I go fishing. Which,
That sounds wrong.
yeah. You know what? It's 2 a.m. Okay, give me
It's
give me
almost
a leg.
2:30 actually.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
uh, that's only the beginning part of this game. Like,
Yeah,
you,
it definitely sounds like a massive roller coaster of a ride.
it's a roller coaster. Then you go to like somewhat the halfway point, and then you go into a different Tokyo
Hmm.
that's basically become a desert. And then you go into Cthulhu's asshole and fight Pluto. Then go to a fucking hell Tokyo and
Shit's whack,
deal
yo.
with shit gets really whack. And then once you're done with hell Tokyo, you go back. Then at this point, after you've done all that shit, you have the choice to fucking erase the entire world. This is by
So this sounds like a standard JRPG fucking anime. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm a normal guy. Chapter 2. I'm gonna kill God.
I mean, that's pretty much one of the things in Devil Survivor. You legit go fight God.
That's just a reoccurring theme in Japanese culture. Oh,
I mean,
standard schmuck. Guess what? You're chosen by destiny to go fight the gods. Okay.
well, here's the thing. The main character is technically called a messiah, but not as like the
Huh.
actual messiah for
Not as
Mikado.
in like Christianity kind of
Yeah,
messiah.
like the Shimigami Tensei protagonists are sometimes called messiahs. I know the second game, the main character Alf, he's technically called a messiah,
Hmm.
but that's SMT2. I don't know much of SMT2, but Flynn, he's technically one of the four messiahs. Because four guys, one messiah. You know,
Right.
yeah. And depending on this last part, if you choose to actually destroy the world or not, uh, this is when the chaos or law starts to kick in. So if you're aligned yourself with chaos, Walter's going to be on your side, helping you defeat these four white members. That sounds incredibly wrong, but
Hmm.
that's what they call themselves, the Whites.
Right.
Uh, Same with Jonathan, because if you're law. However, if you've been a good boy and a bad boy at the same
I'm
time,
a good
and
man.
stayed true neutral the entire way, you're on your own. And I will admit, I had trouble fighting those four white members by myself. However, I had Stephen Hawking in his wheelchair to heal my body back up. Yeah, Stephen Hawking
I
was
don't
in
even
this game.
want to get into whatever. I don't want to have to unpack whatever the fuck that's about.
Yeah, you meet a
Um,
guy called Steven, and it's a fucking Stephen Hawking joke,
right.
and he's helping out with a little lady who calls you the Messiah, who deems you worthy as the Messiah.
I see.
So, uh, doing all the neutral stuff, the ending to the neutral ending,
Hmm.
it's so like, what the hell is happening? You summon a gigantic demon at the end with a fucking sword, and it raises the fucking ceiling from Mikado up because since the apocalypse happened, Tokyo, yeah, Tokyo, it's 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 a weird Japanese game, but it's a guilty pleasure in my favorite game because the four different endings, depending on your outcome. Uh, yeah, like it's very interesting because side quests in that game have like some various differences
Right.
in Apocalypse, which is technically a clone, but a more advanced clone. It has basically more story. It's just adding more story.
Fair enough.
Which Apocalypse is what I call an alternate dimension where you don't play as Flynn, but you play as a 15-year-old called Nanashi, which if you didn't know what Nanashi means in Japanese, it means nameless. So yeah,
The more you
Apocalypse
know.
is the more you know. Yeah, Apocalypse. I'm
Dun,
not gonna go
dun,
too much
dun,
into
dun,
it, but
dun.
it doesn't do the chaos and law alignment meter, which kind of got me upset because that was the whole point of SMT4. However, Apocalypse has like it still has its multiple endings,
Right.
with there being having a peace ending and actually driving out the demons and finally fixing everything that's going on, or
Shit's not broke anymore.
or become the fucking God Slayer.
Well, that sounds more metal. So
Becoming the God Slayer and actually
peace,
having
no peace.
peace or anarchy. I'm on the road to fucking secession, baby. The God
Hell
Slayer,
yeah, brother.
which it's very fucking hilarious. Because there's some kind of dark humor to this to Apocalypse. Like a little spoiler, you kill all of your allies that aid you to gain power.
Well, you know,
So basically, you
you win
become
some, you lose some.
you win some, and then you get a cool fucking sword and never use it ever again because you're that much of a badass. Which, and then you get Satan to fucking join you on your anarchy. Which, yo, fucking Satan in SMT4 Apocalypse, dude, he's so fucking cool. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I rambled a little bit too long for that.
You know, I was letting you have your
Because
moment.
I let you had your time. I'm like, yeah, but mine was like, I fucking love this game. I'm gonna fucking tell you how much I love this game.
uh, but with
Oh
that,
boy,
I think that's where we're gonna call uh, episode 0 of this podcast.
that we don't have a name for.
Nope, not yet.
The electric
Will
boogaloo of podcasting. Yep.
Nope, that's not gonna be what it's called. But we'll figure out a name for it, and yeah,
Sometime next year.
um, fucking hope not. I hope it's sometime soon. But if you guys have any topics that you guys want us to talk about, go ahead, leave them in the comments below. Um, and thanks for giving us a listen. This is just a random, like I said at the beginning, this is just a random idea that we've had floating around for a little bit. And we were already on a tangent
Yeah.
about an
Like
hour and a
I
half
just
ago.
say it. I just
And
said
we just
I
kind
want
of
to podcast this shit.
and we just kind of decided, well, if we're going to start this now, hopefully in future episodes we are going to have more people, more
Hopefully.
topics, and yeah, hope this gets well received. If you guys enjoy the podcast, please, do the whole like, commenting, sharing thing. Really helps the channel and lets us know that you guys actually like the podcast. So, with that said, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.